Hey, welcome back to another training video. My name is Chris, and today we're going to be focusing once again on a specific toolpath in Conversational CAM Pro. So the turning software, we've been focusing on a lot of the spiraling toolpaths lately. This is another toolpath for spiraling. It's called the Spiral Hollow Twist. And we're going to answer two questions, just like other basic toolpath videos we've done. And that is, what does this toolpath do? Okay, what's the final result, and how's the cutter going to be approaching the material to give us that result? And two, how do we control it? How do we program it using this toolpath in CAM Pro? So we're going to use some visuals in our Aspire software as 2D drawings, as well as the machine cutting the part here towards the end of this video. So let's jump on over to Aspire so we can get started. Okay, so just like other spindles that we've done here in the turning round sequences where the stock is actually in a round shape. This is going to be no different. We have a square section on the left side. We have a square section on the right side of this design, but the middle section is all going to be turned. And the spiraling process is going to be applied to this turn section. So this has already been toolpathed and programmed. We used a surfacing cutter to start from this position and turn that entire stock round to 2.5 inches in diameter all the way to the end. We also used this 2-inch barley twist cutter, and this cut the tool profiles here at one end and another one here at the other. All right. Now, what's going to happen with this hollow twist effect that is different from others is that in the spiral barley twist, spiral rope twist, and the spiral twist processes, we only select one cutter per toolpath that we created. In the barley twist, it was the barley twist cutter. In the rope twist, it was the rope twist cutter. And in the spiral twist, we actually programmed 2 spiral twist toolpaths, and we selected different cutters for each one. And so we still, again, selected only one tool per toolpath. This toolpath, the hollow spiral, is unique in the sense that it actually will give us the ability to select 2 cutters to program in one toolpath. And so this is a two-cutter process to actually perform a hollow spiral effect. And the way this is going to work is it's going to take a barley twist cutter and it's going to perform almost like a barley twist effect, but we're going to have multiple starts, not just a single start like the traditional barley twist. This is going to plunge down at the starting position and then travel down the stock as it rotates till it gets to the ending position, and then lift up out of the material and repeat that for as many starts we say we want to have evenly spaced around the circumference of this blank. After that, a second cutter is going to then pierce and hollow the material. And this is actually going to come and plunge into the blank as well, starting at a position, and then plunging down, and then traveling down the stock per rotation, matching the same tool path as what the barley twist did originally. It will then repeat that over and over and over again until it gets to the very center of our blank, hollowing out that toolpath. And it will repeat that process again for as many starts that the barley twist is doing. So it matches it. That way we're actually hollowing out the center using some form of a piercing cutter. And this can be a straight cutter or an up spiral or down spiral cutter to do that hollowing effect. Okay, so those are the 2 types of cutters we're going to be using. Now you can actually do a hollow spiral without a barley twist, or you can do it on other cutter shapes. Like you could do a hollow on a rope twist. You can do a hollow just on a straight cylinder. We found though that the most appealing twist for the hollow spiral is combining the barley twist and your piercing cutter, like a straight cutter. Those two seem to give us the cleanest and have most people like the look better than the others. Now, this isn't required to draw in order to program, but this gives us a little bit more in depth of visually understanding what is taking place. So let's now go to CAM Pro and start programming this. So we're going to go to our projects, and this is the, again, same project we've been using in the past video. So we'll go to training samples and go to our turning workstation, and here we have our part that already has toolpaths programmed. I'm going to manage those toolpaths. And again, the turning round and the tool profiles have already been created and they've already been cut on the machine. All we need to focus on for this video is the actual hollow spiral effect. So if we go here to spiral and go to hollow twist and push add, we can now go over here and insert all of the parameters into this questionnaire for the hollow twist process. So the first thing we need to do is select a cutter. And you're going to notice there's going to be two of those types of questions, select tool, and down here, select hollow tool. And that's where, again, we're able to choose two different cutters. So the first one we're going to select is the actual barley twist. That's going to perform the main twist application. And so this is the 2-inch barley twist, which is the exact same cutter I used to cut those two profiles on both ends of the spindle. And we get to now put in the parameters of where this spiral is going to start and end, just like any other spiral toolpath. And so this one is really straightforward. It's going to be the same parameters we used for these tool profiles on the ends. And so if we go to our dimensioning tool and do a horizontal dimension from the left side, which is X0, to the center of our cutter here, that will give us our starting point. And from X0 to the center of this cutter here is the ending point for this spiral. So 5 and 13. And let's go over to our CAM Pro software and put those parameters in, 5 and 13. And the rest of these parameters are going to be defaulted. But here we get to now decide how many starts we want to have. And again, originally the barley twist was a single start process, but this is not. The way this is laid out right now, just the drawing, is actually visualizing a 2-start spiral twist. But we're not going to use a 2-start. I'm actually going to use a 3-start for this example, using the same formula that we did with the rope twist effect. Okay, so again, I'll bring that out one more time. So if we go here and dimension the stock diameter, so a vertical dimension of the round section that this twist is being applied to is 2.5 inches. And so the calculation that we did is in the rope twist video is we took the stock diameter, and this helps determine the kind of optimum number of starts you would want to have based on the stock diameter. Okay, so if we take the stock diameter, which is 2.5 inches, and we multiply it by 2, we double it. Okay, and that number 5 inches represents a pitch, the distance the cutter travels down the length of the stock per one rotation of the material. Now we just need to divide how many starts we want to put into this pitch, and that will tell us the cutter diameter that's required, or that will get us the closest to matching that, again, perfect pitch, right? So if we did a 2-start spiral, and that's what you kind of see here, if I divide that pitch by 2, my cutter diameter needs to be 2.5 inches in diameter for a 2-start. Okay, but that's not what I have here. I have a 2-inch barley twist drawn here, and so that's why I said we're going to actually do this with a 3-start. And so let's redo this calculation one more time. This time instead of with 2 starts, but with 3. Okay, so 2.5 inch stock diameter multiplied by 2. So we get our pitch of 5 inches. And we're going to divide that by, instead of 2 starts on our spiral, we're going to divide it by 3 starts. And that's going to give us, hey, you need a cutter that's 1.666 inches in diameter to perfectly match a 3-start spiral for a 5-inch pitch. Now, we don't have a cutter of that size, but that means that we can either round down or round up. It's our choice. It does not matter. In this scenario, I'm going to round up to 2 inches. And so that's why, again, I drew this as a 2-inch barley twist, because that's what I was planning to use for this process. So let's go here to CAM Pro and put the number of starts at 3 for our 2-inch barley twist that we just barely calculated with that formula. Again, the rest of this is all defaulted, but the next cutter we get to now choose, and that's our hollowing tool. And we had previously shown that we want to use a long, either straight cutter or end mill. I'm going to use a 2-flute straight cutter. That's a 1/2 inch in diameter and it has a 2-inch cutting length. So it can easily reach to the center of the spindle. No problem at all. So if we select that tool, this is going to be tool number 3. And now this has its own starting and ending position as well. That's because if we look at the drawing here, I want to help visualize something one more time. So the piercing tool This is all drawn as if we're looking at the blank from a side view, because these are approaching from the top edge. And so this is a side view, so it's kind of difficult to see. So let's draw another vector here to represent a top view. So if I just drew a 1/2 inch circle, again, visualize with me that this is a top view looking down on the part, and this is the top view from the 1/2 inch cutter. So you could put the start position at the same point of 5 and 13, and that will position the center of the cutter right there. And again, that is a choice. You have the ability to place the start in any position, but we have found that it's just not as visually appealing starting the hollowing process right there at the tool profile, at the center of the tool profile. What we like to do is we like to shift it in a little bit. Okay, so we can shift it in any amount we wish. I mean, I could place it right here. What I'm going to do in this example is I'm actually going to position it at the edge, right there where the router bit profile stops on the turning tool profile. I'm going to put the center of my hollowing tool at that position in the x-axis. And I find that you can kind of see it kind of actually flows quite nicely into that profile with the hollowing effect stopping right there. So that seems to be my rule of thumb. It works really well visually. So if we have it start there and end there, okay, again at the edge of this tool profile, let's go measure those points so we know what to put into our software. So we're going to do the same horizontal dimensions from X0 on the left side to the center of this tool, and that is going to be 6 inches, and from X0 to the center of that tool there, and that is going to be 12 inches. Okay, so slightly different starting and stopping positions from the barley twist relative to the hollowing. So let's do 6 and 12 over here, 6 and 12 at the start and end. And now we get to choose the width of our hollowing slot. Okay, that's going to travel down the spiral twist process. Now, typically, I usually match the width of my hollow to be the same as the diameter of my cutter. You can make it wider if you want to. You have that ability here in the software. But here, I'm just going to put a 1/2 inch wide slot because I'm using a 1/2 inch cutter. So we're not going to go any wider than just the width of the tool. And the last thing is, what is the section diameter all of this spiraling data is being applied to? And so over here, that's this 2.5 inch diameter section that's already been turned around. All of these spiral toolpaths are being applied to that section diameter of 2.5 inches. So let's put that in there, 2.5, and we are done, and we can go finish and save. And traditionally, we would generate the G-code, again, for all of these being combined into one if we just put a raw blank in the machine. But I already have the turning round and tool profiles already created and cut on the machine. We just need to go cut the barley twist process and the hollowing twist with this one toolpath. So if we uncheck these two, and now let's generate our G-code, you can see that this one toolpath actually generated 2 cutters worth of data. Okay, so we're going to use the barley twist cutter for the first spiraling process, and then the 1/2 inch 2-flute straight cutter to, again, cut the hollowing effect, all from one toolpath. Again, very unique. This is one of the few toolpaths that do that. And so again, this first process, first big section is that barley twist, and the last big chunk of code is that straight cutter doing all the hollowing processes. So we can save out this G-code. So let's put this under our toolpath samples that we've been working with, and we'll go to Spiral Hollow Twist. And this will be the Spiral Hollow Twist G-code. So now let's go to the machine and see what this does to the part. It begins at the start position, plunges down, and performs multiple roughing passes down the length of the stock while rotating. Because this spiral has 3 starts, the stock rotates 120 degrees to evenly space out 3 starts around the circumference. The 1/2 inch cutter goes to the starting position, in this case at the 6 inch mark along the x-axis. Notice that the stock rotates to position this 1/2 inch cutter right in the center of that barley twist cut to make sure that this hollowing section is happening along the exact same toolpath for both cutters. This gradually works its way down to the center of the material for each start, And in the end, after it's pierced all three, we have a true hollow spiral effect. All the cutting advantages shown here, that include both cutters being combined into one toolpath, is automatically built into CAM Pro. You should now have a basic understanding of how to program one of these hollow spirals using CAM Pro. Go ahead and give it a try yourself. Now, these types of videos generate a lot of different questions. I recommend you take advantage of two resources to answer your questions. First is head on over to our website at legacywoodworking.com. There you'll find all the different product information, additional cutting demonstrations, and much more. The second resource I recommend doing is actually getting in contact with one of our CNC experts. You can call them at 801-491-0010. They will be happy to answer any of your questions, put on software or cutting demonstrations with the machines, and point you to additional resources, again, to fulfill your needs. Now, if you'd like to just simply watch more videos, I don't blame you. Just click right over there. I think we all know what to do. If you want to be notified of future videos, just click that button down below, and don't hesitate to give us a like if you liked what you saw. As always, thanks for watching, and remember, Legacy solves more woodworking problems and allows you to say yes to more opportunities than any other CNC manufacturer in the industry.